all in.
More trouble for an NFL star.
A league in turmoil. Reports that former NFL MVP running back Adrian Peterson has been indicted for child abuse. Tonight, the latest on the charge. Plus, the fallout over the Ray Rice incident continues. Is Commissioner Goodell now blaming the victim? Then, it's official.
The United States is at war with ISIL in the same way that we are at war with al-Qaeda.
Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson on the new White House declaration and how we got here.
Unless we discipline our thinking, our definitions, our actions, we may be drawn into more wars we don't need to fight.
Plus, the story of the so-called foreclosure king of Michigan now running for Congress. And Republicans are starting to worry about the Georgia math.
Democrats are working hard, doing all these stories about them, registering all these minority voters that are out there.
All In starts right now. Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. More breaking news tonight from the NFL, a league reeling from scandal. Minnesota Vikings All-Pro running back Adrian Peterson has been indicted in Montgomery County, Texas, for reckless or negligent injury to a child. According to the Montgomery County Sheriff, Peterson was indicted by a grand jury yesterday, and today a warrant was issued and entered for Peterson's arrest for that charge. CBS Sports Radio in Houston citing police reports claiming that the beating Peterson gave his son resulted in an extensive set of injuries to his 4-year-old son, including cuts and bruises to the child's back and buttocks. NBC News has not independently confirmed that report. A statement from Peterson's attorney, Rusty Hardin, reads in part, the charged conduct involves using a switch to spank his son. Adrian is a loving father who used his judgment as a parent to discipline his son. He used the same kind of discipline with this child that he experienced as a child growing up in East Texas. It is important to remember that Adrian never intended to harm his son and deeply regrets the unintentional injury. About an hour ago, we learned the Minnesota Vikings have deactivated Adrian Peterson for this Sunday's game against the Patriots. Joining me now, investigative reporter Jace Larson of our NBC station KPRC Houston. Jace, my understanding is that you have seen the police report. What does it say?
Well, it's really a sad report to read here. It is several pages, and it goes through from an investigation that was done at some type of, it appears to be law enforcement facility here, as they talk to Peterson's 4-year-old son. He talks about how his dad hit him several times with that switch. We've also seen pictures of these injuries, and there's definitely some concern around these. When you look at the pictures there of the child's legs, of his arms, of his back, and it appears in many of the pictures like the skin is broken there. As you read through the police report here, he talks about how he was hit in his private parts as well. He also tells the investigator that he has been hit with a belt before, that his dad has quite a collection of belts. And then at the end of this report, there's something here that I think a lot of people will also find concerning. This 4-year-old says that his dad grabbed leaves and then put them in that 4-year-old's mouth. Tough stuff to digest here.
Jace Larson, thank you so much. Joining me now, NPR sports commentator and host of Slate's daily podcast, The Gist, Mike Pesca. Mike, this is here was my reaction to this news. First, oh my God, he's been indicted on child abuse. Then it was, oh, well, he hit his kid with a switch. And I thought, well, there's a huge range of what that could be, and maybe this is overkill. And then reading the reports, the police reports, if the police reports are true, it sounds pretty grisly.
Oh, yeah, it's totally disturbing. And then we saw Rusty Hardin's statement. Now, he was the lawyer who got Roger Clemens off, kind of priming a jury, saying the kind of discipline he received in East Texas, which may be supposed to play on a spare the rod, spoil the child type of argument. But
I've seen that. That blew up all over social media in immediate reaction to this. My parents used corporal punishment with me, the kid, and I turned out okay. And, if you look at polling, a huge percentage of Americans believe in corporal punishment across all ethnicities and demographics. I think if the details of what happened are what is reported in the police report, opinion on that is going to be
prosecutors don't charge for spanking, and Texas prosecutors don't charge for spanking, from what I know. Now, the big issue is the headache that this is for Roger Goodell and the NFL in light of Ray Rice. And is it an opportunity for him to mete out justice and show that he's on the right side, or is it, as I think, a chance for us to all see he doesn't really have a process in place to make logical decisions?
That is the point. This is King Roger.
That's exactly right.
And it's been King Roger, and the whole thing about why Ray Rice has been such a a disastrous train wreck, has been because there is no process. There's no law above Goodell. It is Goodell's law. He is the emperor, and he hands down this punishment, he hands down that punishment, and so now it will all be on him. All eyes are already on him, and they're going to be on him again.
Right, and everything that the owners have said and everyone else has said to try to get past the Ray Rice situation has been a bit tone deaf. Because because
you think?
Well, I'm even speaking in the last day or two where they're saying things like, well, you know what, this has been a learning experience, and now we're going to move forward. What about Jovan Belcher, who killed his girlfriend? How was that not a time to learn about this? But no one has talked about process. I think that everyone just wants punishment for the bad men. But I think Roger Goodell has taken some pats on the back that he didn't deserve because he has meted out harsh punishments, and that happens for a few reasons. But I think a big thing is, like, if you punish Ndamukong Suh, who's on the Lions, 31 other teams are like, yeah, Ndamukong Suh's out of the game. So he thinks he's doing a good job, but you have to...
Ndamukong Suh is a lineman who somewhat famously stomped on the face of another fallen lineman in the middle of the game.
He had a lot of misdeeds, and you could punish this guy and punish that guy, but until you have a logical process where you don't go 2 games for Ray Rice, oh, we saw a video game, videotape, oh, an entire season for Ray Rice. Is there logic? Is there process? It's just a spasm.
And what will make this more interesting is because they're going to now react, and then if something comes out publicly, then maybe they'll react again, right? Because they have been playing this PR. A profoundly ironic and tragic, devastating wrinkle in all this, of course, is that in October, one of Adrian Peterson's sons, I believe by another woman, was killed by, it appears, a man, the victim of alleged abuse by a man who was dating the boy's mother. Adrian Peterson, within a year, lost one of his sons to, it appears, alleged murderous child abuse, and now here he is a year later being indicted for child.
Right, and the facts of that case, the son wasn't really a part of Adrian Peterson's life.
No,
and he found out about it late. And so let's put aside we don't even have to speculate as to a fact in this case to know that it shows, because it shows that the NFL is in such a bind. And it shows that if Roger Goodell suspends, he'll be criticized. And if he suspends harshly,
there's going to be a huge backlash on that as well.
Perhaps it should be. And he's taking. Well, I do think that perhaps if he drew the lesson, well, you know, the lesson with Ray Rice is you got to give everyone 6 games. That's a bad lesson too. You got to give everyone 8 games. You know, this whole idea that we have to be the law, we have to step in instead of the courts, and we have to do it kind of pell-mell is really bad for the NFL.
Mike Pesca of the great podcast, The Gist. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
In a letter to the NFL Players Association today, that Commissioner Roger Goodell laid out exactly why Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice has been banned from the league. The Baltimore Sun points out that Rice was suspended indefinitely because, in Goodell's words, this video shows a starkly different sequence of events from what you and your representative stated when we met on June 16th, and is important new information that warrants reconsideration of the discipline imposed on you in July. This is the official explanation Goodell is giving for suspending Rice indefinitely. This despite the ESPN report yesterday quoting 4 sources that Ray Rice told NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell on June 16th that he punched then-fiancée in a casino elevator. An assertion that contradicts Goodell's statements this week that when he met with Ray Rice and his representatives, it was ambiguous about what actually happened. Another twist today from inside an NFL that appears to be trying to move the blame off of Goodell. According to an unnamed NFL owner in the Wall Street Journal, Goodell privately told other owners that during his investigation in a meeting with the Rices in June, Janae Rice said she had struck her then-fiancé and that she believed she was partly at fault for the incident. After Goodell suspended Rice for 2 games in July, this person said, Goodell told several NFL owners he felt it would have been insensitive to question Janae Rice's story because it would have come across as an indictment of her character. Meanwhile, a new poll out today from ESPN says that more than half of Americans surveyed do not believe Roger Goodell's statement that, to his knowledge, no one in the league offices saw the second video of the incident until this week. Joining me now, Shira Springer, Boston Globe Enterprise reporter. There's a lot to unpack here, but I want to start with that Wall Street Journal report because, you know, a very cynical, the most cynical interpretation of that is that someone unnamed, one of the owners, is attempting to essentially cast the blame for this on, of all people, Janae Rice herself. I don't even understand the logic why you would have to publicly dispute her account to give a harsher penalty.
Yeah, that was my take as well. It seemed like, unfortunately, more NFL spin with this unnamed NFL owner coming out and saying that Goodell didn't want to press Janae Palmer, now Rice, when she told her story. But the fact of the matter is this needed to be a good, strong, in-depth investigation. This is, Goodell is the leader of this league. He is paid many millions of dollars to make big decisions. He runs a league that has an annual revenue of $10 billion. He makes the tough decisions. He is in tough situations, and he should have taken this opportunity to do an in-depth investigation. And this was just yet another example of the NFL stance where they see no evil, hear no evil, and turn the other way.
And part of the reason I think that polling shows that people don't believe him when he says that no one, to his knowledge, no one in the NFL had access to the video, is that people know that the league keeps very careful tabs on people. CBS dug this up, which I have to read this. In 2009, the NFL wrote up a job description obtained by CBS News that defined for teams the responsibility of the team security director, basically saying you guys have to have a team security director. The description says the director is required to conduct, quote, and I'm quoting here, personal visits to local casinos, nightclubs, etc., requesting the cooperation of the establishment's management in the event a player or team employee is perceived as a potential problem.
Translation, we know we have problem players.
Yep.
We know they're going to get into trouble. Please tell us before it becomes national news and we're in a situation like we are now with Ray Rice.
Right, and that's exactly why I think people have responded so cynically to the kind of machinations from Goodell in the NFL. Of course, on the other side of this is the multi-billion-dollar enterprise in the NFL. And let me play this sound for you as the show goes on last night. The Baltimore Ravens playing against the Steelers, helmed by Ben Roethlisberger, who had been accused of sexual assault. He was never charged or found guilty of that. Here's someone explaining why she's wearing a Ray Rice jersey. Take a listen.
Kathy, interesting choice of jersey tonight.
Thank you.
What did you, I don't think it was a compliment, by the way, but what did you think about it when you put it on? Did you think I'm trying to make a statement here?
I'm making a statement, and, I don't believe in domestic violence, but I will say any woman who can hit a man shouldn't have to sit there and take the abuse. The abuse goes both ways. As a woman, she shouldn't have hit him. If I hit you, I would expect you to hit me back.
Now, I did not play that tape last night because I thought it was sort of inflammatory and I wasn't clear how representative it was. Since then, there has been lots of activity on social media. A friend of mine from Baltimore saying, tons of people on my Facebook saying, defending Ray Rice. I mean, this is the dilemma at the heart of this whole thing, isn't it?
It is that you have a fan base that you have at this point that is still supportive, and not only supportive, you have more than one, but multiple. I mean, I saw, 10, 50, maybe 10, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 women that was reported wearing Ray Rice jerseys to last night's game. Not only that, sponsors have not taken any action yet. You still have this incredibly profitable machine going forward the way it's always gone forward doing business. And it seems that really, in the end, all that matters is the bottom line and that fans keep coming in to support players, whether they're Ray Rice or Ben Roethlisberger or other players.
Yeah, that seems to be the big question going forward, whether this scandal starts to eat into the bottom line and whether sponsors start getting hinky. As of yet, there's no evidence of that, but we shall see. Of course, we should also say last night's Thursday Night Football game was the highest rated Thursday Night Football game in history.
That may say it all.
Yeah, that may say it all.
Shira
Springer, thank you so much. The good news, our government is finally starting to get honest about the fact that we are at war with ISIS. The bad news, we are at war with ISIS. Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson joins me next.